to North Korea not to go forward.
Did you play this? Good afternoon, ladies. Oh my God. Did you hear all that backup and feedback and crazy shit? I can't hear a thing I'm doing. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Just Keep Breathing. Right here on Rational Broadcasting Ustream. My name is Richard Curtin. I am your host today. Oh, I have really been tested on all of this internet and equipment, and so December and January, part of February, we've really kind of been honing the craft and honing the internet and putting it all together to make sure that we have a show every Tuesday, every Friday. This is Just Keep Breathing. This past weekend I did a nice little interview with Christine W., who was at Station 4 on Saturday, and I'm going to tell you, she puts on an incredible show. Saturday afternoon, we joined her for her sound check, and the woman is just really naturally talented. She's got a beautiful singing voice, and she plays many instruments. She played a saxophone on during her show on Saturday night, but she plays many instruments, and she did some a cappella stuff that was breathtaking during her sound check. We were all just kind of standing around going, "Ugh, wow, how gorgeous." And so Saturday night at Station 4 was our 8th annual Carnival, and Christine W. was the headlining act. And what a joy to work with. Very easy to work with, and really, really a pleasure. She's very sweet to everyone, and she's really a testament on how things are done right. She was just named one of the top 3 best-selling dance artists of the 2000s. And what the truth is she's number 1. She beat out Madonna, she beat out Beyonce, and she is the best-selling dance artist of the decade of 2000. What I find really interesting about it is a lot of people don't know who she is, and I was really surprised by that. They know her music, but of course they don't know her name. I recently found out about Christine W. is that she has her own independent label, and it's Fly Again Music Productions, and she is an independent artist, and I didn't know that. I thought she was signed. Something else would be why that nobody knows who she is, or any of the new generation.
What's her latest song?
Her latest album is called The New and Number Ones. I have it. I bought it at her merch table. And her latest single is called Everything I've Got. The video is kind of fantastic. I think the little signs for Pride are cheesy, but I really love the new. I really love the new single. Everything I've Got. Christine W. The new and number ones. She also put out a jazz album that I wasn't aware of that is really kind of fantastic.
Richard, is she sometimes not so nice on stage?
No, Christine W. was a complete joy to work with, and who's not a complete joy to work with is Taylor Dang.
That's it.
Taylor Dang put on one hell of a show, and I enjoyed her show immensely. And she was on what she wanted and what she didn't want off stage. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But her delivery was very curt. She was not very nice to me the entire time. I really kind of bent over backwards for her, and she was really kind of off to me. I was really kind of surprised at how persnickety and curt she was. And then she got a couple of cocktails into her, and she turned into the nicest gal on the block. So I don't know. I did not like working with Taylor Dayne. There's been many others that we have worked with. Crystal Waters was really kind of high maintenance, and I hear you, Greg.
I cannot hear you, though.
Hi, Daniel Kustner.
Hi, Richard.
Daniel Kustner is a jump-in guest because our guest is just forgot that he was supposed to be here today.
Richard, can you hear your own voice?
I cannot. Do you think?
But wait, can I hear you though? Yeah, I think I can hear you.
Oh my lord!
Testing.
I wonder if any of that was even being heard.
I don't know. I do not know.
Probably people were just watching me talk. Oh my lord! I don't know what it is, but technology does not like me.
I think it does like you. You only notice or appreciate it when it's not working.
No.
Okay.
I would like for you to have this conversation with James Bruce,
Oh, okay.
who is my tech guy, if you will, and he said to me on Friday last week, "What the hell is it with you and all this technology that doesn't seem to work? Why? And I just went, I don't know. I like technology. I embrace it, but it really does. It kicks me in the ass as much as it possibly can. And I want you to talk to James Bruce because he said that technology hates me. I believe him.
Well, I think you might be working now. We're working out some of the kinks. This is I still am having a hard time hearing you, so I just want to check some stuff. Can you hear yourself?
I cannot
But-
hear myself at all.
But we heard because you flipped your mic off again.
How does that happen? Now I hear.
know, but
Now
you-
I hear everything. I did not touch it. I swear to God, I did not touch it.
I wonder how this.
I did not touch it.
Now you're coming in a little bit too.
I swear I did not touch it. I did not move my hand at all. And I'm going to roll back the tape. I do. I want to roll back the tape and see if see what I mean about technology. Technology hates me.
Okay.
I don't know how it happens.
God, I can hear you. I hear you too well, which makes me suggest
Now I'm really loud and
something's wrong.
yeah.
But
well,
I think all the levers are right. There we go. Okay. Richard, I was stunned yesterday morning to wake up and hear some interesting news.
okay.
The Pope quit.
The Pope quit. What the hell? It's never happened before.
It's happened in the
Well,
15th century.
Actually, it hasn't happened in a long time, but I think it's only happened once before.
Before Ash Wednesday. I mean, we're going into the Easter season. The entire church is built upon the death and resurrection of Jesus, and he says he's dropping out in the middle of Lent.
Well, maybe he's giving up the Pope, the papal.
It doesn't
He's
make
giving up the papal for Lent.
It makes no sense.
I'm giving up the papal for Lent.
Now he's not giving because he's still be installed until the 28th. Now I tend to have, be a little bit. I'm interested in conspiracy theories.
Yeah, well, I want to let you know that me and the Pope are in love, and and he's going to run off with me to the Caribbean.
Because you think he's that attractive.
No, he's hot. He's so hot. And you can't imagine. Those teeth come out. Wow.
And he is fond of red Prada shoes.
And yeah, that makes him a queer.
What was your reaction when you heard the news, though?
What? I don't care.
Okay.
I honestly don't care. I honestly don't care.
but-
At some point, I really have. I have really walked away from the Catholic Church. And it just, nothing really kind of ceases to amaze me anymore, including the Pope resigning.
Okay, well, does it when he makes pronouncements about condoms, which he's for, even for gay people, I think.
He's resigned.
Okay.
He resigned, and so he's a quitter.
Like Sarah Palin.
Sort of, yeah. Really, you know what? You were Jesus' right-hand man on earth, and you're a quitter. So, I just, they're whatever. I don't get it either. At some point, I care less. You know what I care more about?
What?
I care more about Adele's dress at the Grammys.
I didn't watch the Grammys.
I didn't watch it either. I had to go to work, but I saw Adele's dress on the internet, and I care more about it than I care about the Pope resigning, because really, I don't give a poop about the Pope, and kind of don't really give a poop about the Catholic Church. It's all kind of becoming so hateful and divisive, and more people have died in the name of Jesus Christ than have died in all the wars combined. And it's so full of hate, and I just don't need any more hatred in my life.
Well, I mean, and I get that, but I am wondering if there was a specific motivating factor
Absolutely.
Other than his health. I'm a little bit more intrigued than
A pope-
than the Kardashians.
A pope is supposed to die a pope. He is not supposed to quit. And so really, they made the wrong choice, and he's resigning for some reason, and it has something to do with his human flaw.
Do you think it could lead to maybe because he the child abuse scandals that?
Oh, good Lord, I'm sure that's a piece of it.
Okay.
I also believe that the Catholic Church is still living in the 16th, 17th century, and they have to do something.
Okay.
They are going to have to move forward. They are going to have to. They're going to have to embrace condoms as just even just to say, to avoid or to avoid procreation, if you will.
He does justify the use of condoms. I forgot where he stood on it for gay people to try to, to help stop the spread of AIDS. He does. That's Pope Benny actually announced that, which was groundbreaking.
Well, how about in just a family life to prevent childbirth?
He didn't touch it.
Yeah, I know. And so the church really just needs to move forward.
Yep.
And it's kind of a lot like the Republican Party. They need to come into this century. They need to start embracing diversity. They have to embrace diversity. And unfortunately, I think that the Catholic Church is, under his helm, is really kind of staying in an old way of thinking. And they've got to move forward.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is for the betterment of the church, but I honestly don't care. Adele's dress at the Grammys.
Did you give it high praise?
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
I saw it.
Oh my God, pull it up. You have to see it, because it's a Valentino 2013 couture. It's red and black embroidery, and they refer to it as a frock. And, oh my God. Now, Adele, who normally wears black, Adele normally wears black, has really kind of like departed from this whole black gown that she normally wears, and she wore this Valentino red and black embroidered frock that looks like drapery panels from a patio. And it is so great.
Who were
It
pe-
is
oh,
so-
it's kind of Edna Genie.
It is so great if you're Edna Jean Robinson. It is so great if you are really kind of making a statement on comedy couture. It is so wonderful. I want the dress. I want Brian Alden to make that dress for me because it is so ugly. It is so ugly, and it is so great at the same time. And so it is really one of those that it's either going to be black or white. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it because it is so awful.
Who I saw people posting on Facebook. They were doing it. It looked just, and I was wondering if it was a character from The Wiz. I could not tell the reference. Did you see that? People were
No.
doing a side by side of her dress next to this other figure from like a movie.
Are you sure? Her dress?
Her-
And was it a long dress?
It was this dress, and then
Okay.
next to it was some character from a movie that I couldn't
Oh.
depict who they're. But it was some fugly looking,
Well, all right. Well, because they also have the side by side of the long version from the actual Valentino Couture runway. It's the long version of it, and it's the way it was original. And then she had it made short, which was a bad idea. It only makes her look bigger.
Well, I'm all for someone creating that much of a scandal at a. It looks like a daytime outfit, though, is it?
It looks like patio furniture that's been made into a dress, and I think it's so great. I love the ugly dresses, and I just think it's so damn funny. And so really I care more about that than the Pope. I know that makes it. I care more about how I'm going to get my trees trimmed out front than what the Pope is doing. I do feel that there is something else going on.
Okay.
And I question whether or not we'll ever know that. What it is, why it is. I am sure that all of this cover-up scandal for the allowing of pedophilia, I'm going to tell you something. I think that for so long, families, especially Catholic families, raised gay sons to be priests. And I think at a very early age, it's pretty known. I mean, I think people are they knowingly raise their gay sons to be priests. And I say this because, I was sort of a chosen child to be a priest. And was an altar boy, was a head altar boy at St. Mary's Catholic Church, was really kind of pushed into it, not so much pushed, but so encouraged. And I think a lot of that happens because they know. And so the whole idea of the gay men being priests, I understand it. I really do get it. I really think that that we are encouraged to be priests because they know that we're queer. And so being a priest and taking a vow of celibacy is so much better than being a gay man and taking a vow of debauchery. So what's funny?
Vows of debauchery.
Vows of debauchery.
That could be a name of your next album.
The Vows of Debauchery. I think that's great. I like that. We should write that down. So, I think there's a layer of truth in that. That there's a lot of people that really do suspect that their young boy is gay, and so we better go to church. We better get him into the priesthood. Did you hear about this? I don't know if it's Seattle or if it's Portland, but it's somewhere northwest coast. This church that's turning young effeminate boys into girls because it's so much better. It's so much better for people to be the right gender having sex with the opposite gender than it is to raise gay children.
Oh, this is for Americans in the Pacific Northwest?
Correct, but I mean it's like a church that gets your young children and basically reassigns their sexual identity or their sexual gender, or their gender changes their gender at some point, and you basically send your effeminate boy to them and they turn him into a little girl.
For God?
For God.
I love that.
Yes, because it's wrong to be gay and to, have sex with the same sex, but it's right to be a former boy that's been turned into a girl that now has sex with boys.
I've heard that with like fascist, Islamic faiths, that transgender, whatever's underneath the burqa, as long as it's kind of female, that's sort of the gay route for them to still be in line with their culture and their faith. They can't be dudes hooking up with dudes, but they can transition and be accepted by society. I've heard that is, in the teachings of the Quran, that is almost acceptable, instead of like two dudes hooking up. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I have. And I'm infuriated by it. I'm infuriated by it.
Okay, but I get that, yes, it sounds, but underneath it's kind of so radical and weird that I sort of go, okay, Don't you? Doesn't that sound like the weirdest thing in the world?
Yes, it is the weirdest thing in the world. But this is my point. And so this is where you and I differ on it. At 7, I would have taken the opportunity to start living as a girl. At 35, at 20, at 25, at 30, I would have known it was the wrong decision. At 7, my whole idea of what gender was and gender identity and sexual identity and what actual sexual procreation was, and girls had sex with boys and girls liked boys and boys liked girls. Boys weren't supposed to like boys because of the Catholic Church, because of the things that I was being taught, because of society, because of my mother telling me, oh yeah, Liberace and Neil Diamond were queers, but they were talented, but they were queers. And knowing that it was a bad thing, at 7, I was really destroyed by it. Thinking that I was doomed to hell, and thinking that I was going to go to hell, and thinking that, no matter what I did, just the fact that I liked boys meant, that I should become a priest and take a vow of celibacy and all of this other crazy stuff. So at 7, it really would have been easier to just be a girl. And so at 16, maybe even 20, I don't have any hang-ups about being a boy. I'm a boy. I am a boy. And in my head, I'm a boy. And so at 7, I would have been making the wrong choice, no matter. And so how many children have a parent or have a church organization telling them that you're really not supposed to be a boy, you're supposed to be a girl? And so how many is that happening to? And at 20, how many of them are going to be like, oh my God, now I've got this pussy, and I'm really a boy, but I'm living a life as a woman, and you're making it worse. You're making it worse. and so that's why, yeah, I hear how crazy it is and how crazy weird and how great it might be sounding, but I think that it's so much more damaging.
Okay. Because, can I just, examine another part of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's a cultural, notion that's being perhaps imposed on impressionable people who are young, coming into life, and
I think stupid people that only believe in the church.
And they probably, want to obey, or there's a little bit of a power struggle because they are younger, they are minors, probably. You're worried about that.
7.
You're worried about that. I kind of, part of it is, I'm a little glad it's happening because I would love to watch a documentary on it, and I think it's so crazy weird. And yeah. But what about a young person being brought into the gay community? Now, it's not necessarily their parents or a person who has seniority over them or a guardianship, but just knowing that the option is open, or even meeting people who, being impressioned by other people who are so thankful they had a they transitioned, and that their life is fabulous and fierce, and they feel luckier and more beautiful. Are you a little mad about that impression because you want this person to be able to make their own decisions and not be influenced by others?
Absolutely. However, I'll tell you, I think at some point, I think 7's too young. I think 11's too young. I think 14, 15, 16, I think you're butting on, I think you're butting on the time frame where you can start making your own decisions.
But Barbara Walters, even on 2020, I think she's done this so far, 2 large, Friday night profiles specifically on children, I think under the age of 9, who are completely gender identifying. They know what they are, or do they? Or do you think it's too young?
I think there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. I think there's always going to be a person that you go, wow, you really understand what it is you are. And then I think that there are children that don't understand, and I think that there are people that maybe wanting to be more like mommy or be more like daddy, or want to impress mommy or daddy, or want to
be mommy.
Or be mommy, exactly. So I think it really is a case by case. I think it's a case by case issue. But
when are you happy that the child under 9 is going on hormonal treatment and their parent or guardian is making sure that they are meeting those medical
I don't think I have to be happy about it.
Are you unhappy about it? I'm
disturbed. I am disturbed. I'm just, I don't have to be happy about it. I don't have to be unhappy about it.
I'm not going to name this person's name, but there's an entertainer who I think, who you kind of think as not necessarily transgender. You necessarily think of this person as a female.
Right.
Do you think if she was expressing these traits as a boy, her life would be happier and more fulfilling if she was transitioning at a younger age? Maybe even herself, she would feel she wouldn't have some of the struggles that people have, and she certainly wouldn't have to deal with her family. If you were to forecast that individual, going, wow, I wonder if...
And there's part of the exception that I'm talking about. At some point, I believe that I do believe that that there are people that are truly transgendered and really want to make the transition from male to female. And yes, I believe that she would have had an easier time. However, However, everything, I believe, happens the way it's supposed to be. And a girl cannot do the female impersonation show. And so at some point, the phenomenon would not be the phenomenon that it is, because she would be a secretary somewhere in Atlanta, Georgia, or somewhere else. And so the path would have been totally different. And so I know of some transgendered people who are terribly upset with the fact that they have gone the complete way.
Buyer's remorse.
Sort of, yeah.
Even people who have maybe had a procedure done within the last 7 years.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Young people?
Just one.
Wow.
But I don't know very many.
Okay.
I know I probably know more than most people. I know one right now that is. I know one transgendered person who is completely tortured by all the things that he or she has done to her body. Had boobs, had them removed. Had really is post-op, and it's completely in just an emotional wreck because he did.
What decade of life is this individual?
30s.
Wow.
Late 30s.
Okay. When I ask, when were the procedures performed well?
Yes.
Did they look amazing?
Yes.
Did they look like they should have been happy with the procedures?
I'm going to tell you, this person is extremely masculinely feminine, and has made some bad decisions with silicone, and and I just can't tell you. I mean, at some point you do just, your heart breaks for it, because it's just been one bad decision after another, and so you just don't really ever know. And look at Buck Angel.
Yes.
Buck Angel is a man, and I believe that he's a man.
Oh yeah.
But he has female genitalia.
Yep.
So, and has no intention of getting male genitalia. One, because it's so difficult for a female to male to really get something that is working, that is realistic, that is, you just kind of feel I think they feel a little short-sighted, if you will, because the progress on it just hasn't been made. And I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. I mean, because you get this kind of mutilated. It's just awful. I can't imagine how you could be happy.
What if medicine caught up and you could have like a 14-inch dick and you were a chick from going to male?
14-inch. I mean,
you could have
really,
whatever
come on.
you wanted. You could have the ultimate penis envy, dream come true happen. You could have whatever, like.
And it would probably change, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Don't you think that the idea of it would change? Would Buck Angel change his mind?
Yes. I think he would.
Yeah, I think he would
I
too.
think there are a lot of women out there that are very happy with their breast implants, and if they would have penile implants, I know a lot of men that would be like, "I'm suiting up."
Yeah. Why not?
I think some breast augmentation women are absolutely happy with it.
Do you remember several years ago when men were getting some muscle snipped, or some sort of something snipped on them to make their penis longer?
I missed that day.
Anyway, and people were lining up all over the place to do it. if you had an opportunity to increase your penis size by 2 inches, would you do it?
I don't know. I might not.
I wouldn't.
I know some people that probably.
I would not.
want
I
it.
mean, I don't want anyone cutting on me. Period. I only want to do that when it's absolutely necessary.
Okay.
I didn't say no. I wouldn't do it.
Okay. 5 inches.
Let's talk. 5 inches would make my penis 15 inches. Okay. Let's talk about this for a second. The National Center for Transgender Equality says that the definition for transgender is an umbrella term for people whose gender identity, expression, or behavior is different from those typically associated with their assigned sex at birth, including but not limited to transsexuals, cross-dressers, androgynous people, gender queers, and gender non-conforming people. Wow. I mean, that's really pretty much all-inclusive to anyone who genderqueer. I mean, so that makes me transgendered.
Yes. Do you have a problem with identifying as transgender?
No,
being?
not at all.
Okay.
No, not at all. In fact, when I read this the first time, I went, "Yay! I'm a tranny.
Yes!
I'm really a tranny."
Yes, you
Because
are.
I've been telling people all the time. I use your little comment that, I'm a tranny anyway because my egg was XX and I wasn't a boy until the introduction of the Y chromosome, and so that makes me a tranny. All of us start out as female.
Yep.
So,
Which is the reason why dudes have nipples.
so all boys are trannies.
Have transitioned.
Yep. At some point or another are tranny.
Yes.
So I'm a tranny. You're a tranny. But now this definition really identifies me as being a tranny. I'm a tranny. I embrace my tranny life.
And a title holder.
And a former title holder. Yes, and I've been a tranny for some time now, because the very first pair of heels I got, I was 14 years old.
Now, before you read that definition, I think we were having the discussion, because this was the last week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, a contestant came out as transgender, and I found that the episode found a separation between those people contestants on RuPaul's Drag Race versus this individual who is identifying as transgender. And I want to say, y'all are transgender. I'm sorry, but I get to classify you as transgender because I know you're a title holder, and I've seen you representing yourself as a woman, and I get to classify all those people
And
on
gender
RuPaul's
non-conforming people.
and their behavior. So there's no difference. There's no difference between. I'm not calling them transsexuals.
Do you call yourself a transgender?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I have nipples, and because I think gay people. First of all, the first ones. I think transgender people are the first ones to call out people like RuPaul and say he's a drag queen. He's not transgender, and I want to go. You're wrong. And I don't care if RuPaul says I'm not transgender. I'm a drag queen. I go. You're still incorrect.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, though. In the world of drag, there is a differentiation between a tranny, a transgendered person. I don't have any problem with the word tranny, and I'm just not going to not start using it. I'm not going to stop using it. I probably should.
Why?
But I don't know. If somebody's really that upset about it, I should probably not use it. But, at some point, I don't say it with hate and malice. So anyway, in the drag world, there really is a differentiation between someone who puts on boobs and hips and someone who walks in with them. It's a different act. It is. And so I am going to support RuPaul a little and support those people in the world. I'm going to support myself still. I'm going to celebrate the fact that this definition says that I'm a tranny. But in the world of performance art, I would like for you, Dan Kussner, 6 foot tall, 6'1", 220 pounds, broad-shouldered, hairy, hairline like a man, hairy arms, hairy legs, to follow Crystal Summers in a show, while putting on all of those pads and boobs and having to cover your body completely and to cover your hairline and to wear wigs and to paint up. And I'm not saying that it's any better or any worse. I'm just saying it is extremely difficult for a man to follow a girl in a show when your illusion, in the end, is supposed to be about the same thing. It's supposed to be about being as fish and as girly as you can be. And
What about
when Crystal walks in with her boobs and her breasts and her her pretty little skin that's spray tanned, and I get it, there's room for all of us. I've learned that. And it is a performance, and so you have to go out and own your own. However, in the world of performing, there is a huge difference between someone who is transgendered and someone who is a drag queen.
So they're separated.
They're not really separated. It's just different. And I think that in the world we can celebrate each other, and I think that at some point we can identify a little bit differently. I mean, everybody's like labels, blah 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 blah, but everybody uses them. Sure. And do we need to? I don't know. Maybe
the one thing I get a little upset with, or I don't get upset, but I just kind of go, you people are so full of shit, is when people who representing any of these communities, I'm not talking about a strict, Republican cowboy, I'm talking about gay people or people that watch RuPaul or are transgender themselves or transsexual, say that word is strictly one definition, and I want to go,
yeah.
Why? Are you just shooting yourself in the foot? Gender should be a liberated thing. People that are saying that you're a man and this is what men do and these are the laws that are constructed for men and women, and they're, that's where I'm like, you guys are on the wrong page. It doesn't
Well, I mean, then aren't we still doing it with just like identifying as top and bottom? Why do we have to identify as top and bottom?
Don't you laugh at the people that do that?
I do.
Yes.
I don't really laugh at them. I just kind of scoff and roll my eyes because, it just, whatever. And then, then you've got bears and you've got otters and foxes and elk and bears, oh my. So, I mean, what we do is label each other.
I kind of, like Tiger Woods. What race does he say he is?
An adulterer?
No, what race does he say?
I think he's an adulterer.
So who isn't? What he didn't invent adultery, but what race does he say? How does he identify?
I think he identifies as black, doesn't he?
He refuses to.
He refuses to, so why should he?
You're right.
He's multiracial, isn't he?
And what is Barack Obama?
I think he identifies as Kenyan.
Black. However, he's of the same. And who's to say that you don't got a little bit of Negro blood up?
It is possible. Have you ever done that DNA thing where they find out where your origin is? I think I'm Asian. I actually think that I will find out that I am probably Asian. Anyway.
And I like that. I mean, that's the melting pot world of what America was supposed to be. Is people are not separated by these ethnicities or ancestral heritage or maybe even gender. So this 2013 is my genderqueer year.
Are you a genderqueer?
No, I'm genderqueer.
I'm just going to be a tranny. I've been telling people for a long time now I'm a tranny, so, and it was basically on this whole idea that my egg was an XX, and it wasn't until I was an XY, but now, according to the National Center for Transgender Equality, I am a transgendered individual.
And I think you've always known that you were.
Oh, I've never had a problem with that. I've never had a problem with it. I've never had a problem with anyone even thinking that I was a girl, really.
So you need to change your Grindr profile.
To transgendered? How do you know I have a Grindr profile? I do. I've been doing something on Grindr that I gotta stop doing.
What?
Well, I think I've told you before. The one that say masculine for masculine only.
Awesome.
I send them messages that say, "Hey girl, hey girl, what's up?" And I've been amazed. I've been amazed. You know, some of them send me back like a question mark, and some of them sent me back questions like, "Do you have a pic?" Because I don't have a pic on my profile. And you know, and then some of them are like, "Hey, what's up?" And I think that is so damn funny. Masculine for masculine only, and then or I'll ask them, "Are you top or bottom?" And most of them are always bottoms. It's like, ugh. And you know, probably if they ever came over, they would, you know, have condoms in their purse.
All right. Hey, girl.
And I'm not mad about it. I'm really not mad about it. I just I really hate the stigma of all of it, and how people are just so wrapped up in what everybody else thinks of them. You know, someone recently told me that I would be a good catch if I wasn't a drag queen.
Who said that?
It's just someone at JR's who knows me from Station 4, and you know what? And I said, "Am I supposed to think that was a compliment?" And I was in drag when he said that to me. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't mean to offend you." And I was like, "Well, what did you think you were gonna do?" You know.
Can I ask you though? Were you offended by that?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. Because I just looked at him like, "You're an idiot. You were an idiot. Why does what I'm doing make me a non-candidate to be a husband? You know, it's so stupid." And so, no, it didn't infuriate me at all. It really, I looked at him like a dog going, "You are an idiot." And so, really, the only thing it did was kind of make me feel sorry for him, because I liked him up until that point, and then I realized, oh, you're an idiot. You're just stupid. And really, you couldn't see me because I'm a drag queen?
And some of that, I kind of go, yeah, I do categorize a person, and I sort of kind of go, you are not very far along on your path.
Absolutely.
You just indicated, you know, where you are on your level of sophisticated thinking.
And this guy's 40. You know, and I just was so, and really I was sad about it, because I really liked him, and I thought he was really nice, and he comes to my shows, and he hangs out in the Rose Room from time to time, and he's really kind of,
well, Richard, it means that he's thought about it.
well, he really likes drag.
And he's thought about, oh, well, I would like to.
And why? Why is there that stigma associated with people who do drag?
Well, I don't know about necessarily that, but I would imagine that this gentleman has struggled with accepting himself through life because of how it would look to others, and when
Or Jesus Christ, maybe?
or just
And the way his parents and the way his congregation look down upon the gays?
you know, don't you hear about what you don't want to be
Sure.
what you don't want to see in a pride parade? You know, these groups, it's, you know,
All they do is show the drag queens and leather people with their butts hanging out.
or, you know, some tweaked out crystal meth freak. I want to see the crystal meth freaks at, you know, at a pride parade. Because, you know what? A pride parade is no place for any shame.
Right, exactly.
wanna-
It's just pride, really, right?
Yeah, I don't want to see this typical example.
Well, how do you feel about at the Pride Parade, straight organizations?
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
wait.
Straight people are part of the gay community, too.
You know that there's a lot of people who are pretty mad that there are so many straight organizations in the Pride Parade.
Nothing makes me happier. I mean, it's not a pride parade unless Westboro or some contingent of there are there representing two. You know what I mean? They make a parade. They are part of it.
Westboro Baptist Church. Wow, or were you keeping up with Anonymous, shutting them down? And
Oh, Anonymous has been so busy lately, but that was a while ago, right?
yeah, but they're still hitting them hard. pull it up and see if you can get on their website. You still can't do it.
I can't get on God Hates Facts.
You cannot,
Love
and
God Hates Facts.
it's been a couple weeks for me since I've tried. So I'm curious to know.
Oh.
I'm curious to know if it's still down, because they promised to take them down for 2013.
I love that. I think they're up. I love that Westboro's a friend to the show.
Wonder if they liked it on
The Phelps family. God Hates Facts, friend of Just Keep Breathing. Friend of the show. No, they're up. They're going.
They are going. Okay, well, Anonymous shut them down for a while and shut down their Twitter.
Well,
So, apparently they got back up.
love them.
They, my song about them has got to come out. I've got to release it. I've really got to get going on the video. So, yeah, it's got to be done.
Yes, you do.
We are at 10 after 4. You've been listening to Just Keep Breathing on irrationalbroadcasting.com, Ustream, /Rational Radio. This is Just Keep Breathing. My name is Richard Curtin. My guest today, the one and only Daniel Kussner. It was great to see you again, Daniel.
Yay.
Tune in every Tuesday, every Friday from 3 to 4. Have a great afternoon. See you Friday. Bye.